He has his own spank house.
Spank?
I heard. He did. Spank you, spank you,
He did have his own.
Spank, 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 spank.
How's it going, everybody? Howdy, beer pedal nerds alike. Scott.
Ryan. Welcome to another episode of Why the Hell Are We Still Doing This?
Today what we have for you is the Electro Harmonix Micro QTron. It is an auto filter, analog auto filter. So what that means is any sound you've heard that's kind of like a wah pedal, but they pretty much react to how you hit the guitar. It's kind of like a wah pedal, but it's doing all the work. It's all the footwork for you. So this has a few different settings on it.
I'd call it the Megatron.
The Megatron pedal?
I saw it was like, usually wah pedals have it's like a foot pedal. You control the wah, but this has its own built-in wah, so it does it itself.
In a sense, yes. It's not like an auto follower or filter follower. So what it does is it sweeps through frequencies much like a wah pedal would. But what's different about it is it's depending on how hard you hit the guitar and your settings determines what frequencies it sweeps through. So it's still basically like a wah pedal, but it's just got a little bit more mojo to it.
Nice. So you don't have to focus as much on doing the wah foot pedal. It kind of does it for you. You can maybe focus on other things.
Exactly. You can just kind of play and have it react the way you want.
Yeah, have all your coordination kind of go into your fingers and just being able to bust out super funky, wicked solo.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Just shred it on.
Shred it on.
Spread it on!
So we have three different knobs. We have the type of filter, we have the Q knob, and we also have the drive. So drive is a little misleading on this pedal. It's not an actual overdrive. It determines the input sensitivity. Drive is really how much signal you're putting into the filter. So you can get it to collectively like overdrive.
Sorry. Speaking of input sensitivity, look at this guy.
And so the Q is how wide your sweep is. You can kind of, with those two, really find a setting that most fits you. And on this knob here, it has three different settings of filters you can use. So the middle one is called the band filter. So what does that mean? On an EQ graph, you have different bands. You have your low frequencies, mid-lows, mid-highs, and high frequencies. And so what this does is it kind of fiddles about in the middle of the frequency spectrum. It's because your low-pass filter cuts all the high end, and your high-pass filter cuts all the low end. So I'm going to demonstrate these for you now. Did I mention this is a very sexy pedal?
That's the first thing. When I heard the sound samples of this pedal, just immediately went to sexy, funky times.
That's why we had to put on this lovely background. If you search YouTube, it is, I think it's music for sensual lovemaking.
Yeah, so that's where I'd want to be.
Except with nice 2 beers.
Yeah, we couldn't really find beers by the fireside.
One day.
Someday, it's getting there.
So here is my dry signal. My amp is a Quilter Mini 101 50 watt head through a closed back 1x12 cabinet. So what I have on here is the band filter, so I'm going to activate that.
So it's pretty clean sounding right now, nothing too fancy.
Well, I mean,
it's got a slight wah maybe going on.
It will, but it's going to focus more on like the middle of the frequency spectrum. So it'll be probably the widest, most natural sweep like you would have like on a wah pedal, like a normal foot wah pedal. So that's your bandpass filter. Kind of sounds like Charlie Brown's mom and dad.
Yeah, it's just totally got that. Chef from South. Gonna make sweet love
to your woman, gonna lay her down by the fire.
Chocolate salty bounds.
They're packed full of vitamins and good for you.
So this should be the high pass filter. This is the high pass filter. You already kind of get more of this brash, high-end, just almost like I call it squawk.
Squawk.
Squawk. See, I hear that? It's like super.
Mm-hmm. Also, R.I.P.
Oh, R.I.P. We're going to go to the low pass filter. So this is actually going to accentuate a lot more low end. This would be really good for bass players. Plug it into an amp of any sort, really, like whether it be an old Ampeg or super new, like, I don't know, like Gensler head or something. What was that?
An old Ampeg or like a super new Ampeg.
Yes, that's a great.
But also hard key and Gallon Kruger.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, from Tim
hard key amps will make you sound real smart.
All right. So from our resident bass aficionado off
slapper.
camera, make sure I have my bass facts right. Tim Moen is here in the audience.
Yeah, that guy's he's a slapper. Real slapper.
He's a slappy kind of guy. So we're on the low pass filter. It's great for bass. It accentuates more low end, a little more low end thump. I've kept all the settings the exact same on this pedal just to kind of go through the different filters to give you a really, this gives probably the best differentiation between all of them. So this is the low pass. It's like hard to play something pretty with this. It really is.
Yeah, I mean it's like your past serenade part. Like the serenade is over. Now you're on to like, hey, let's
gonna make love.
Let's
like this is.
I'm begging you.
This is kind of like the guitar orally slapping you in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the dry and wet thing is, I assume this is a pretty wet setting.
It's just a wet pedal.
It's just a wet pedal.
Yeah,
in general. It has some dryness when you start it out, but it went like
kind
straight from dry to wet.
Yeah,
in 0.5 seconds.
Exactly. Well, and that's the 0.5 is literally just turning the pedal on. There's no actual dry blend.
It just starts wet.
It just starts wet.
Like Scott just said, it's hard to really play a serenade-esque thing with this pedal. He's going to attempt to play a serenade with this funky pedal.
Exactly. Good old jazz standard, All of Me. Take that one. See, it's too sexy.
I mean, how is your lover not gonna want just like be looking at you and start being like, like there's no way.
If I heard that, I would.
Yeah, that is my girlfriend Ava. Everybody. Also, I have to thank her, give her a shout out because she helps me set up all the lights and camera angles and everything. So go follow her, subscribe to Vlogs by Ava. So yes, that's a fun little channel. It's a lifestyle, or was it lifestyle channel?
Lifestyle vlog.
It's a lifestyle vlog.
Vlog.
Super fun. You're just gonna leave with a grin every episode. So
She's the real MVP.
she's a real MVP.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
No.
I can't see you, but I hear you. Hello.
Hello.
So that is the Micro QTron. Ryan, with this funky sex machine of a pedal, what did you bring to pair with it?
I had to bring a funky sex machine of a beer in the form of this. All right.
Wow.
Today I brought a funky sex machine of a beer in the form of Bam Noire, or Bam Noire, from Jolly Pumpkin Artisan Ales up in Dexter, Michigan. Sorry, I choked on my burp there. It is 4.5% alcohol, and it is a dark farmhouse ale. Really good one that's also pretty widely available. So before I get to talking about it too much like I do, let's give it a good old hardcore pour, shall we?
And welcome back. So we need to do some pedal tone notes. So I'm gonna
Nice.
go with, I want to say broad, but like thick, with 2 C's thick.
3
3 C's.
3 C's, yeah. Thick,
Yeah.
I mean, funky. From an untrained, like, guitar player, just thought process, it's, like, funky right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Creamy.
Creamy. Definitely wet, so, you know,
Absolutely.
pretty buttery wet.
I think Prince would approve of this pedal.
Prince would definitely approve.
Wide.
The squawk.
Yeah,
I said earlier,
squawky.
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 Just kind of got that wow.
Wow. Wow, this pedal's cool.
It's got a good attack.
Mhm.
It's got like a good sharpness to it.
It does, yeah. At the very like peak of the cue, it just kind of slaps you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good slappy and snappy.
Snappy and snappy.
Yeah, slappy and snappy. Anything else for the Megatron?
No, not for the.
Once you start getting that wah going, the wah-ness going.
Yeah.
What controls it? The Q pedal. The Q
Yeah, so
knob.
the cue is how wide the sweep is going to be, how wide or thin the sweep is going to be. So this one's it never really gets too super thin. It's still, even like at its highest frequency spectrum, it's still pretty thick.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. So this beer, we did some hardcore pouring. Hence the background.
Man, that was close to something else.
Yep.
Pretty close.
Let's taste this beer again and get some more notes on these guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh. Ooh.
So yeah, I like the pedal.
It is funky.
Notes about the beer, like I was saying, a wild dark farmhouse ale from up there in Michigan. Jolly Pumpkin is kind of like the Jester King.
If you're from Austin, Texas, you'll
If
know
you're
this
from around
reference.
Austin area, but nationwide beer nerds know who Jester King is.
It's true, they do.
You know, funky farmhouse brewery, and Jolly Pumpkin's very similar in being a farmhouse style brewery. Farmhouse meaning kind of more of a wild yeast, not just clean fermenting yeast, but more wild, funky tasting yeast.
They like to party yeast.
More bacteria involved. Sounds gross, but you make some really cool flavors with wild yeast and bacteria involved. Barrel aging.
I've learned that bacteria can be your friend.
Yeah, some bacteria is good. Some bacteria taste good. Some bacteria is good for you, like the bacteria in yogurt. Very good for your tum tum.
Some bacteria is bad for you, like E. coli,
Yeah,
which you don't want in your beer.
Yeah,
This beer is very E. coli-y.
yeah. I was, but I was thinking of this wild dark farmhouse ale as being a good, widely available beer that people could find in a lot of markets, more markets than Jester King, being more local. But I was also thinking, I heard this pedal and I was like,
Hey, baby. You like dark farmhouse ales?
No, bye.
she's like, no man, I like
Imperial stouts!
Just right off the bat, this beer is striking, has a good attack like this pedal does of the kind of tartness, and also just right after that you get that funk from the wild yeast in the form of what is called Brettanomyces. It is a wild strain of yeast. Multiple strains of Brettanomyces make different kind of wild, funky flavors.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of get this funky barnyardy like a
Sweet.
horse saddle, like leathery. It's
Okay.
very weird, but if you ever ridden a horse, you know what I'm talking about. That's that kind of barnyardy smell. Hay, you know.
Hi.
Hey. And that's where those flavors are coming from. The Brett, as we call it in short, in the brewery community, we call it Brett. Everyone has a friend.
Everybody has a friend, Brett.
Yeah.
And they're usually nice.
Yeah, they're
Ours happens to have a beard, which is
usually
super
pretty
awesome.
nice guys. This pedal is not just funky. It's and like the beer, it's not just funky. It's more nuanced.
Mm-hmm.
It's
For
got
sure.
other notes going on. Like there's dark, slightly roasty toastiness. It's kind of dark fruits going on. It looks like a dark beer, but it's obviously it's a dark beer, but it's not. It doesn't. It's not heavy.
No, it's still really light and airy. It's
Yeah.
weird to say that about a beer, but it's airy to me.
Yeah. I mean, like it kind of goes against how the pedal is kind of thick sounding, but
Again, I think the thickness doesn't always have to come from like super crazy sugary malt and crazy alcohol and booziness. Like I think this is thick of just how brash the flavor is. It's not like it's got a lot of
immediately
thickness.
funky.
It's immediately funky, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting like a lot of those toast. Like it looks like this should be super toasty, super malty, and it's really not. It's really light, but also funky. And that where the funk is where that thickness comes in. But otherwise, your palate adjusts.
Yep.
It's a very light,
your palate has to adjust to
sessionable beer.
Yeah, if you keep listening to this pedal, you'd want to drink more of these. It's also sessionable, 4.5%.
If you got a good wallet,
so
you'll be fine. If you're like us,
this was like $9 a bottle, so just keep that in mind.
Don't immediately crush it.
Don't get you could get a 6-pack. Good luck getting really turned off that.
Yeah, it will definitely hurt you. Just your wallet, not you.
Your wallet, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get pleasantly buzzed probably.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
So
like how this pedal gets you.
it does, yeah.
Kind of gets, definitely gets things going.
It gets things going. Oh.
Wow.
So yeah, I think this pedal really does match. I don't know. What do you think? I'm thinking like 8 again, like 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think 8.5. Because also it's surprisingly dry. On
It
the
is,
finish.
yeah.
And this is like really wet.
'Cause I think it's
Whatever. I'm just trying to get something really, funky because
it is.
are there more funky pedals out there?
Yeah, and there are, and
Just like that, have that funky wow.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
and this is the micro version. So what I would
Okay.
say, like, the only thing I think that's missing from this beer is that I was looking for a little bit more, almost like creaminess.
Okay, cool.
I think that's the thing that's for me
could've
missing.
gone-
The funk is like that's
Funk's there, definitely there.
definitely there, but there is something when you put that low pass filter on. You're just like, oh, I kind of want some chocolate.
Chocolate salted bomb.
Some chocolate. with this.
Yeah, even some more body.
Mm-hmm.
Probably next, for the next possible beer pairing.
Funkier beer.
You mother.
You mother.
Funker.
You mother.
You funker.
You funker.
Well, I'm glad I at least chose this. I was also looking at like the lighter version of this called Bomb Beer,
Okay.
which is like I guess more saison, like pale colored.
Cool.
So this just has a little bit more dark malt nuance, but could even use more body, probably more alcohol content too. Get things really going.
Oh yeah, funky, bigger body. I think it would be just absolutely perfect. But that being said, it's a great one, man.
Yeah, I mean,
good
there's multiple beers can pair with this one. Find like a funky, big, not too big beer in your market, and I think you're
Golden
you're
pony
on
boy.
You're
Well, I think this one was pretty darn good.
All right, yeah, it worked out. This was a difficult one.
This
but
was a difficult one.
okay.
I challenged him, but I know I tried to grab the beer with 2 hands. But we'll see you next week. Stay tuned for more.
If you're still tuned in,
And search for that tone.
please keep watching us.
Cheers.